أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعلني وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Inshallah, we will continue with the race. And this is the seventh ray that we are continuing. It's the journey kind of the human being. Our rihla, as in Arabic, as we've been studying with Brother Ali on Mondays about, we studied chapter Quraysh, and we studied what rihla Arabic means about our journey in this universe under different conditions, how we are going to make progress. So we are not meant to be stagnant or beings that, are complete. Oh, I have my faith already and I'm done with my journey, kind of that, oh, I know, yeah, I am a believer, I believe in God. But no, this is a continuous journey where we have to make progress continuously based on our different conditions and, again, our experiences. And we've been going through a very beautiful journey, as the author has been presenting, going through the universe. And this is also called, the supreme sign, as the author mentions how this universe is a training place for us. So we went through different areas of the universe in the journey. We looked at, the universe in terms of the skies, the mountains, and the trees, and the plants, and the animals. And then we entered into the arena, or the place, for example, where human beings and what humanity is. And humanity, as we discussed, was something that is introduced to us through a notion of prophethood. So whoever made this universe has also arranged that we human beings know how to behave, how we need to work, how we need to use ourselves and in this universe, or what our purpose in life has to be as we journey through this universe. Because over the course of many years, we kind of understand that nothing over here lasts forever in this world. Things are coming and going. So the prophethood was an interesting notion that now the author has started working on. And we discussed that, and we ensured that whatever the teachings of the prophets is something that we human beings also are benefiting from. So that was just a little background as to what we are going to be reading. And now the author, I think, will take us to the journey as we go toward, to the lineage, or the teach, like as he calls it, the exacting scholars. So those who are following along the teachings of what the prophethood has been declaring, which is La ilaha illallah. So everything in the universe, as in our journey, we see that is declaring that there is no God but God. All the qualities that we see are coming from God. And now there is further progress in our journey to be made. So which is why I'm gonna start, inshallah, from the next, actually this one, the paragraph I just highlighted. So we're gonna start from here, inshallah. So let's do that, bismillah. That questing traveler, having derived a lofty taste of truth, from the power of belief, found himself invited, while coming from the assembly of the prophets, peace be upon them, to the classroom of those profound, original, exacting scholars who affirm the claims of the prophets, peace be upon them, with the most decisive and powerful proofs, and who are known as the purified and most veracious ones. So that questing, the traveler is not settled, but he is on a quest. He's searching, he's still investigating, he's still going through and benefiting what the existence means for him. So now, having derived a very good taste, lofty taste of truth from the power of belief, he's convinced, as we are studying the Supreme Sign, we know that this is the 4th volume of the book from this author. So he has already the notion and the understanding what belief kind of brings in the journey of the human being, that there must be a source of who's bringing me into existence, who is making whole my experiences more meaningful and a means to get to know him. So now he is benefiting from further experiences and found himself invited. So now he is invited again while coming from the assembly of the prophets. So he benefited from the different teachings of the prophets. And now to the classroom of those profound, original, exacting scholars. It's interesting, he says original, original, exacting scholars, like careful, serious scholars, and who original in to terms of, those who are within the line of what the prophets, the message that the prophets are bringing of La ilaha illallah. So who affirm the claims of the prophets, peace be upon them, with the most decisive and powerful proofs, and who are known as the purified. So they're known as the purified and most veracious ones. Entering the classroom. Entering their classroom. So the classroom of the purified and veracious ones, entering their classroom. So they are teaching, and now we are benefiting from their teachings as well. He saw thousands of geniuses and hundreds of thousands of exact and exalted scholars. Yeah, entering their classrooms, he saw thousands of geniuses and hundreds of thousands of exact and exalted scholars, proving all the affirmative matters connected with faith. Proving all the affirmative matters connected with faith, headed by the necessity of God's existence and his unity, with such profound demonstrations as to leave not the least room for doubt. Headed by the necessity of God's existence and his unity, with such profound demonstrations as to leave not the least room for doubt. Indeed, the fact that they are agreed in the principles and pillars of belief, despite their differences in capacity and outlook, and that each of them relies on a firm and certitudinous proof, on a firm and certitudinous proof, is in itself such evidence that it can be doubted only if it is possible for a similar number of intelligent and perspicuous men to arrive at a single result. Let me read that sentence again. Indeed, the fact that they are agreed in the principles and pillars of belief, despite their differences in capacity and outlook. So despite their differences in capacity and outlook, they're still agreed in the principles and pillars of belief, and that each of them relies on a firm and certitudinous proof. So proof that is certain is in itself such evidence. So the proof is certain is in itself such evidence that it can be doubted only if it is possible for a similar number of intelligent and perspicuous men to arrive at a single result. So they're very certain in this classroom, everybody is exactly in line with what the teachings of what the prophets are saying, as well as the whatever the evidence out there in the universe shows. And it is it's pretty much impossible to oppose any of the principles and pillars of belief that they are agreeing upon. Otherwise, the only way for the denier to oppose them is to display his ignorance, his utter ignorance. The only way to oppose is to display his ignorance, his utter ignorance, and his obstinacy with respect to negative matters that admit neither of denial nor affirmation. He will in effect be closing his eyes, but the one who closes his eyes is able to turn day into night only for himself. Turning day into night only for himself. The traveler learned that the lights emitted in this vast and magnificent classroom by these respected and profound scholars had been illuminating half of the globe for more than 1,000. The lights emitted in this vast and magnificent classroom by these respected and profound scholars had been illuminating half of the globe for more than 1,000 years. He found in it and spiritual force that the combined strength of all the people of denial would be unable to shake or destroy. In brief allusion to the lesson learned by the traveler in this classroom, we said in the 9th degree of the first station, there is no God but God, to whose necessary existence in unity points the agreement of all of the purified scholars with the power of their resplendent, certain, and unanimous proofs. So that is one more section. We'll pause here. I know I see a hand from Fariha. So Fariha, please take it away.
Oh, thank you. So now we entered the arena of the human spirit. And so the author is sharing his reflection about how prophets, or what he says to people who speak with evidence, exacting scholars, and including my own human spirit, now we pretty much deriving at the same conclusion. So really, if I would be doing that, I'm really going against my human nature. That's clear. I just wanted to unpack a little more on the part on page 143, the first paragraph says, where does it say? So yeah, indeed the fact, so it's the fourth sentence. Indeed, the fact that they're agreed in the principles and pillars of belief, despite their differences in capacity and outlook, and that each of them relies on a firm and certitudinous proof, is in itself such evidence that it can be doubted only if it is possible for a similar number of intelligent and perspicuous to arrive at a single result. A mouthful, yes. But I just wanted to unpack a little more about what does the author mean by the differences in capacity and outlook. I sort of have an idea. I'm not sure the outlook part. What does it mean? Maybe it's a translation issue, because to me, outlook means like a worldview. So if we are all in agreement with a worldview in terms of what this universe points to, so that's pretty much the agreement for me, where creation points to its creator, and we can expand it further from the macro to micro and micro to macro level. But so what does, despite their differences in capacity and outlook, really refers?
Sure. And if I may start, the differences, you see, every human being everybody goes through their own different experiences and learning.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you claim that, hey, we are the same worldview, it can never be the same worldview if you look at it. The outlook always depends on the degrees and how much experience and learning one has done, and how much the human being has engaged themselves in to make sense of the world. Every person, every individual differs, which is the beauty of how this creation and universe is. Every individual has their own unique individual personality.
Okay.
So the outlook, I would say, is similar to how their individual's capacity and how the conclusions one arrives at is to the level and degree of their own individual being. But that's how I took it. But if there's any follow-up or anybody else would like to answer.
That's clear. Thank you very much. Yeah.
And I see Brother Ali. Please go ahead as well.
In addition to what you said, of course, everybody has a different way of looking at any evidence, any matter from his own or through his own life experience. That is understandable. But at the same time, historically, we know that all the people who followed the prophetic teachings or revelations, assembly of the prophets, what the prophethood or in messengership throughout the human history brought a message to different kinds of people. It happened to be involved with different civilizations, and all the prophets fundamentally brought the same message and presented to these different people. That is one aspect of the matter, that every century, every kind of people have all different kinds of civilizations, understandings of life, etc. So they were addressed in the same way. This is one aspect. But as far as our experience is concerned with the history of Islam, or with the history of the messenger, the prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the teachings of the Quran is concerned, there were thousands of different kinds of commentaries made on the Quran by serious people, and also not only commentaries on the Quran. Some people studied another aspect of this message that they received from the prophethood, or through the Quran. Quran is of course, a message presented to us by the prophet. So being in the assembly of the prophet means really being subject to the teachings of the revelation. So all people, all kinds of schools of thought, the famous ones, philosophers, Sufis, hardcore rule followers, do's and don'ts, hadith narrations, historians, those people who study and specialize in the hadith narrations and make different interpretations. They all had different aspects or as the word said here, outlook. It means, I mean, profession, if you like, in studying the same message from completely different perspective. Those people who study the scientific subjects in their own time frame, also how the universe works and how the things are functioning out there under the guidance of the Quran, they all confirm the message for different reasons, but ultimately came up with the same conclusion. The message is correct. The message makes sense. I approve it. I confirm it. But they have different approaches to the message or the prophetic teaching. But they all confirmed it. So they are serious people, they are scholars, and specialized in subject, and they didn't really come up with the conclusion that, come on, this text doesn't make sense. But of course, some people, for uh, some political reasons, competition reasons, and especially missionary purposes, uh, and also try to undermine the rival religions with certain prejudice ideas, they look any for any excuse to criticize it. Of course, they are not looking for the truth. If it makes sense or not, they look to find out the fault and discrepancy in it. And you know that very famous studies, which are done by Orientalists or certain fanatics of the followers of some sort of religions worldwide in the world, they cannot really argue the fundamental teachings of the message, but they all come up usually with either misinterpretation of the obvious statement of the Quran, the message, or come up with an excuse saying, showing the some ignorant people's practice of religion under the name of Islam, claiming that they are following the Quranic teaching, they are following Prophet Muhammad's teaching. But they are ignorant people. They make excuse out of their mistaken attitudes, mistaken behaviors, and their failure in following the message correctly, make an excuse of it and blame the prophetic teaching. I've never seen any people who study the Quran with an Orientalist approach, talking about, but the Quran says God is one, He is peerless, you cannot compare it, you cannot imagine His essence, He is the source of existence of the universe. How funny it is. It doesn't make, I've never seen any claim like that. Any. For example, God, existence of the hereafter. These are the very fundamental messages of the Quran that the prophets propagate on or teach the people. They cannot come up with that. No, believe in the hereafter. Come on, it doesn't make sense. But those study the source. But those they cannot say this. But those people who study the universe or the matter and be specialized in how some part of or a particular part of matter, how it works, and then makes a philosophical conclusion. But it's not your specialty. He says, you see, the universe is acting by itself. Of course, they don't study the Quran. They cannot object the idea presented by the Quran to human beings, saying that one God is presented in the Quran throughout these evidence, and this evidence don't make sense. There is no such study. Only what they say, you see how the universe is working. So, I mean, there is no need to attribute the universe to anything other than the universe itself. So, however it happened, that is just a self-claim within their own speciality. They never study the Quran or the revelation or the prophetic teaching, but they can come up with their own conclusions without being specialized in the subject. Yes, they are specialized in the subject. Let us say how an atom is working. That's correct. But interpretation of the working of the atom is a philosophical subject, a matter of interpreting the actions, whether the actions can happen by itself or they need a creator, etc. This is their not. This is not their specialty. Their specialty, for example, how this laptop is working. But their specialty is not whether this laptop can exist by itself or not. It is the subject of philosophy, human reasoning, making an allegory, metaphor, etc., and coming to a conclusion, logical activities, coming to a conclusion and saying that this is happening by itself. I'm sure it is happening by itself, but how it is working turns out to be it is happening by itself. How? There is no explanation. We shouldn't be misled by their rejection of the message of the prophethood, but those people whose speciality is studying the Quran from many different outlook, it means professional approach, they all agree that fundamental teachings of the Quran cannot be challenged. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ali. So would anybody else have any comment to what was said or from this topic, the part we read? So the fundamental, the outlook of each and every individual. It's interesting how the specialties come about. And yeah, it's interesting in terms of the, the hadith and these, maybe the matters of, the jurisprudence or the more spirituality side of things. Everyone has their focus and specialty, and that's how even in the principles and pillars of belief, things based on the specialty of the individual, we they still are, the principles and beliefs pillars are the same, but everybody has their own way of bringing it about or propagating it or explaining it with their the focus or outlook that they are experts on.
So pretty much the interpretation of how matter is coming into existence, that's the fundamental agreement, that how do I explain the existence of anything. So
yeah, that, and then other aspects of belief like hereafter or the existence of angels and the meaning side of things and the qualities of the creator, how, so most, all they're like different aspects that different individuals would specialize in, but you're right, that also is one area.
that everyone is in agreement with, but how they go on, coming to this confirmation varies. And so that's where the difference in outlook would lie.
All right, so let's continue. Just feel free to raise your hand if you have any comment to make. And we're going to continue on the journey to the next phase. So our contemplative traveler came forth from the classroom, ardently desiring to see the lights that are to be observed in the continuous strengthening and development of faith. Ardently desiring to see the lights that are to be observed in the continuous strengthening and development of faith. So there's a continuous strengthening and development of an individual's belief. And in advancing from the degree of the knowledge of certainty, advancing from the degree of the knowledge of certainty to that of the vision of certainty. So that's interesting, from a reasoning and logical perspective, that you have knowledge of something to a vision of certainty is you're living with it, as in the presence of whatever your conclusions are has become your way of living. He then found himself summoned by thousands of or millions of spiritual guides. So he found himself another invitation summoned by thousands or millions of spiritual guides who were striving toward the truth and attaining attaining the vision of certainty in the shade of the highway of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. So the spiritual guides who were striving toward the truth and attaining the vision of certainty in the shade of the highway of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, under his tutorship and the ascension of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. This they were doing in a meeting place, a hospice, a place of remembrance and preceptorship, like this universe lab. Practically, you're working place, the place of remembrance, meeting place, that was abundantly luminous and vast as a plain, being formed from the merging of countless small hospices and convents. Upon entering, he found that those spiritual guides, people of unveiling and wondrous deeds, were unanimously proclaiming, "No God but He, La ilaha illallah." Upon entering, he found that those spiritual guides, people of unveiling and wondrous deeds, were unanimously proclaiming, "No God but He," on the basis of their witnessing. So there's a basis on their witnessing and unveiling of the unseen and the wondrous deeds they had been enabled to perform. On the basis of their witnessing and unveiling of the unseen and the wondrous deeds they had been enabled to perform, they were proclaiming the necessary existence and unity of God. The traveler observed how manifest and clear must be a truth to which unanimously subscribe these sacred geniuses and luminous Gnostics. For, like the sun is known through the 7 colors in its light, the saints' luminous colors, their light-filled hues, their true paths and right ways, and veracious courses are manifested from the light of the pre-eternal sun through 7 colors. Indeed, through colors to the number of the divine names, and are all different. He saw that the unanimity of the prophets and the agreement of the purified scholars and accord of the saints forms a supreme consensus, more brilliant than the daylight that demonstrates the existence of the sun. In brief allusion to the benefit derived by our traveler from the Sufi hospice, we said in the 10th degree of the first station, there is no God but God, to whose necessary existence in unity points the unanimity of the saints in their manifest, well affirmed, and attested divinations of the truth and wondrous deeds. All right, I'll take a pause here again. It's interesting. I found how the author again goes and benefits from another area where what the saints and the spiritual guides are telling him. And let's hear from Brother Ali. Please go ahead, Brother Ali.
Now, in order to understand this section, I thought we can go back to the very first paragraph we read today. Because although we didn't discuss much about it, but it has really important message in it or important information that we should be aware of. First of all, let's recall what we have been reading, especially the author was emphasizing on the importance of the witnessing of the universe. Now, the traveler who is really sincerely, impartially, with no bias, looking at the universe and trying to understand what's going on here, what's the source of it. Now, at the end, lots of evidence were presented to us throughout the passages that we have been reading for maybe more than a month or two. But now, of course, there are other evidence as well. These evidence now started turning to human experience about the message that the prophets bring to human beings, or God sends to human beings through the prophets. Here it says the questioning traveler, having derived a lofty taste of truth from the power of belief. What does it mean? I understand a taste of truth from the power of belief. Now, as the evidence he witnessed in the creation of this universe helped him understand that this universe has a creator. Therefore, excuse me, he himself has a creator. Oh, that is something new for human beings. Why? And for any human being, not thinking of who he is, what it is, where he came from, it seems to be not very human, really. So it is very human inquiry, human quests, and trying to understand what is going in the universe, the very simple function of human reasoning, force human beings to question who he is in this world. And in order to understand who he is, first of all, he has to understand what the universe is. So from studying the universe and coming to the conclusion that no, he has a creator, he has an owner who is such a being that he cannot be like any of the part of this universe. So he must have some qualities which goes beyond the limits of the universe, and these qualities are absolute qualities, limitless qualities. We cannot describe him. This creator can only be known through the witnessing of the universe, but cannot be describable because it is not of the nature of the universe. How can you describe it? But logical conclusion necessitates for human beings to come to this realization that this universe has and must have a creator and has a creator. So this truth, of course, shakes any human being. If we just experience that, I mean, we are Muslims, we believe in God, and we always grow up with the idea of God and never experienced or even came to our uh, mind or whatever they call it, came to my mind, it came to my can that if there was no God and the universe was an accident, how can I really see myself? This never occurred to most of us. But we hear people claiming that there is no creator in the universe. It is happening by itself. Come on, where did they get this idea, which is maybe just wishful thinking, maybe. So the universe is as it is. Enjoy your life, and until you die, try to make best of your opportunities here. When they say this, some people don't believe in it, but we don't usually internalize it and say that if there was no creator, no purpose in existence, I am the result of accidental happenings. How my human beings really feel about it, and how am I going to really live a kind of life in this world, meaningless existence? How can I be meaningful in this world? We don't have this experience. We just rationally and externally talk about the necessary existence of God. And as some people claim, no, there is no such thing that we can talk about. These are all external experiences. But we have to actually uh, understand the importance of this word, lofty taste of truth from the power of belief. It means taste of truth. Taste, taste of truth, or taste of belief, if you like. Believe in God. Have you experienced that? That's the main question. So this person, after the traveler, of course, the traveler is supposed to be you and me. So after experiencing the taste of truth within ourselves, of course, our attention turns to the message of the prophets, because it is the prophets that come up with a message with the idea that there is a creator and human beings are the product of this conscious, the action of this conscious being, and they are under the surveillance, control, and the security of this absolute being who is called God. That is the core message of all prophetic teachings. Of course, he has a sympathy towards this message and tries to understand that what these prophets are really telling me. That was the first passage we read, the first paragraph we read. And afterwards, this person or any other person in the world, like you and me, we say, okay, how those followers of this message or the prophets or the teachings of the prophets and prophets in general, experience the taste of disbelief? How do they see it? They can do they really do they really experience that they are satisfied with it? How do they really confirm it? How do they practice it in their life? Or is there any experience that they are presenting to us? As the text says, because of this people, because these people base their argument on no God, but He, how their life became meaningful, and how do they present to us? That is why we have to go, all of us, study how the people who believed and confirmed, maybe specialized in studying the prophetic message, they shared their experience of the content of the message in their life with others. That is essential to listen to them. What do they say? And of course, at the end, can I come to the same conclusion as they presented to me? Can I experience that one as well? And also, most importantly, does it really fit my human capacity? Can I really confirm it? Does it, for example, uh, give a picture of existence for myself as a human being that compatible with my feelings? For example, if someone says, excuse me for a very bad example, you have to eat not from the freshly cooked delicious food, but you have to eat from the trash can. I found it contradictory to my human feelings. I say, this message cannot make sense to me. For example, if somebody tells me that I have to accept that my hands have no purpose, I'm using it. It is so perfectly designed, and they are really functioning in a purposeful way so that I utilize them in the best way without realizing, and it is with me. So this suggestion that the creation of or existence of hands have no purpose at all, just one of the books has written it, and I loved it a lot. And an extension of the body structure, body, human beings, something, branches of the body, explaining the legs and arms, hands. Can I see them just haphazardly branches of my body? Is there anything really? Even the branches of the trees are so wonderfully designed, purposefully done. Whatever. We have to consult our feelings, I think. Look at the traveler now going through different life experiences, different life phases. Started from the very external events. They are called by some people as natural events out there, and examining whether they can be natural or not. Now coming to it is inner world now, his own inner world now. How do you feel if there is God? How do you feel the creator? Or how do you feel if there is no such thing at all? Compare it and judge the conclusion through your own sensual experiences. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ali. Are you continuing, or you just mute yourself?
No, I'm not.
Okay, thank you,
I
Brother
shared
Ali.
my feelings. Thank you.
Your feelings are very interesting because I see some new individuals that joined, and there's some background that based on the discussions that we're having, and I think Brother Ali kind of shared his feelings on them in terms of this journey that we're reading, and it may not make immediate sense to the newcomers because this has a good background in terms of we've been doing this for the past 2-3 months now, this journey. And there was the journey through the universe, and we've looked at how what the trees mean and what the smiling of the flowers to the individuals, how that brings a meaning and a message. And we've seen that how mountains, what they signify and how they are speaking as well. They're there and they have a very significant, wonderful meaning behind them, how the whole balance of the whole universe is happening with the help of the mountains, and how the earth is the rotation of the earth. So this whole journey is an amazing human journey, and every individual also is also going through that journey. And when Brother Ali touched upon the taste of belief, that is the thing that I think this journey should take us, and how our connection with our source of existence, the one who is letting us enjoy this universe, who preferred us to be here in this world and made this our learning, our lab, our way of experiencing the qualities that are being manifested. And this is a continuous journey while we are here in this world. Each moment or each second of our lives is the opportunity to experience this aspect of what belief is, what is this understanding of being with our Lord is, his presence, feeling that presence in our living. So now, as we continue, now we are at a stage where now he is benefiting from the teachings of the prophets, because without the prophets, there's no way we can reach, the love of God. It's just by following the teachings of the prophets is the way that we are able to achieve, the love of God. Follow me and God will love you. There's a verse that says, the prophet says, follow me and God will love you. So it is a very important aspect. And I see Brother Ali's handed up. So Brother Ali, please go ahead.
Can you or anyone else speak about the ascension of Muhammad, the shade of the highway of Muhammad and the ascension of Muhammad? What does this term, ascension of Muhammad, represents within the context that we are studying now? And of course, we are not studying Islamic theology. No. At our travelers, a modest person, went to the universe, through the universe, come to the conclusion that yeah, there must be a creator, yes, and then he is interested in the prophetic teachings throughout the human history, because only the prophetic teachings emphasize on the importance of believing God and organizing one's life accordingly. Now, as he enters into this world, it investigates it, he comes up with an important concept that some of the prophets in general, but especially the prophet Muhammad, has, prophethood actually, but uh, we may discuss, we may not discuss that, experience ascension, an ascension of these prophets. And the message that they bring is the process demonstrates to us that this ascension is ingrained in the teaching. So if you really study the teachings of the message that the prophets bring to us, we find ourselves that we are getting into the deeper experience of belief in God and believe there is an eternal life. And these are also presented to us with evidence, with with signs in the universe. They are not only baseless claims. No. In the creation of the universe, there are signs that this universe cannot be the end of itself. Just the universe exists like this. Human beings come to this world and die and finish. That's it. I mean, everything is so purposeful, and human beings are created with a very strong the feeling of need for a purpose for their life. If life, when I die, comes to an end, all my purposes dies away and they are killed altogether with my death. So I understand that this cannot be the purpose of my existence, to desire for eternal happiness, pleasure, but at the end die and disappear from creation. When I study the universe and when I study my own existence, it doesn't show that the creator is not that crazy creator that he will make me taste the pleasure of existing, pleasure of life, experiencing the youth pleasures, and then depriving me of all of them and making me disappear from existence. There is no sign that the universe has such a crazy creator. Everything is wise, everything is full of wisdom, a purpose to educate human beings, purpose to provide human beings to go through different stages of higher and higher stages of realization of the qualities of the creator, and understanding that he is created for an so elevated for a so elevated stage of realization that I must be experiencing the pleasure of eternal happiness through the teachings of this message, which is called, if you like, travel, journey through the teachings of the message of the prophets, and then slowly realizing the deeper and deeper message in the creation of the universe, in the creation of the human feelings. That is the notion of experience presented to us with the name ascension. Prophet himself must be the one who is experiencing it at the first hand, as a first-hand experience, and also deepest way. Otherwise, he wouldn't be appointed as a teacher of this message. So his experience of the endless degrees of the pleasure of human feelings through the help, or by the help of the teachings of God, which is called the revelation, the message of God given to the prophets in order to deliver and in order to present the example of how this message should be practiced. So this practical side of the message, not only theoretical, rational understanding of the content of message, practical side of the message causes within the human feelings a kind of elevations. Now, I understand my life is meaningful. I understand my Creator has given me limitless potentialities to learn, to educate, to make progress in my humanity. Endless, as the universe conveys to me endless messages. I cannot get to the end of the message I study when I study the universe, how it describes the qualities of its creator. So both through the experience of the universe, through the experience of human feelings, this is the real human ascension. Though the prophets, so the prophets must have experienced this in the best way. If you want to understand that, you don't have to be next to the prophet, because you will, even if you were next to the prophet, you will see a man body. You wouldn't see his experience. Only after studying the universe, studying the message under the witnessing of the universe, you can go through this journey, which is called ascension. As far as I am concerned, my ascension is as high or as elevated as I can penetrate into the message of the messengership and also transfer it into a form of taste within my own emotional feelings way. This matter of emotion, ascension, always makes me excited. Always makes me excited. I keep asking myself how much I have studied the message of the prophets under the witnessing of the universe, under the witnessing of my human qualities, and felt the taste of the result of this teaching within my own life, so that I will understand that I am not a trash, I am not garbage in this world. I have very highly valued quality in my existence, which are the which is represented through my feelings, which is represented through my human potentialities, which have these potentialities have no limit at all. As I study more the content of the message, as I experience it more in my human feelings, I realize that I am so precious. You cannot really uh, give a price to it. So precious, so that this experience of the taste of the content of the message, which gives a very sweet meaning to your existence, and you become really an addressee of the Creator within within all yourself, within own being. But this realization through your feelings will be your ascension. But this is only possible what? Through studying the message of the messengers. Otherwise, we just say ascension belongs to the prophet. It happened in a second or in a minute, one day, etc., and alienated to you, and we cannot benefit from the taste of belief within ourselves. It cannot be a part of us. That is why ascension is so important. I said before going into the next step of the or stage of the journey of this traveler, of course we are going with the traveler together, we should not really miss out this ascension point which is mentioned in the text. Thank you.
MashaAllah, thank you, Brother Ali, for taking us on this ascension journey as well, along with you and the author. So, any comments anybody else would like to share? The sentence that is highlighted, attaining the vision of certainty in the shade of the highway of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and the ascension of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. If they would like to comment or share anything, Faria, go ahead.
This is a very convincing and reassuring and really, I would say, beautiful way of looking at one's existence, because first of all, we all start with our own existence, and really, what does it point to? What is the meaning of it? And through the different resources that are available to us, and especially, just as was mentioned, the prophetic teaching, it's really speaking to my human side. And really, how can I utilize the prophetic message to benefit from this existence in order to fulfill the purpose of my existence? Otherwise, yes, the universe is meaningful, and but I don't know what to do with it. And so I definitely need training, guidance every moment, at every age, stage of my life. Doesn't matter if I am 5 years old or 50 or 75, if I'm a grandpa, mom, 20 something, or a teenager, really doesn't matter. At any stage and age, our human side is in need to ascend, or is in need to really make sense of its existence. And there's almost as if like a spiritual thirst, just like a 5 years old get thirsty, and then the parents provide them with food and sustenance. We grew up the same needs. We have the same needs at every age and stage, and the spiritual needs are no different at all. And so really making use of this prophetic message, where definitely look around the universe and see what everything points to, and really how can I make sense of my human feelings, because at every moment I have myriads of feelings, emotions. It can be joy, overjoy. I can really go super excited, like really, really excited, especially when you are teenagers. Like, whoa, that's it. I can conquer the world. Here I am on top of the world, and the sky is just the limit, and I got it. But later on, when you progress, you get in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you're like, whoa, beep, beep, back up. Not really, but either you can go super much into despair or super really excited, but these are like two extreme ends. But at the end of the day, one really wants to connect their existence in a meaningful way. And the transience of this universe, this transient nature, does not satisfy the human spirit. But we have to utilize this transience and see what it points to. Otherwise, I may be feeling high, happy, just maybe a couple of days, little honeymoon, little weekend getaway. Oh, guess what? Holidays. Oh my God, that was so cool. Guess what? After 10, 15 days, back to reality. What did you do with that? So, well, the point I'm trying to get at is how can I utilize my experiences, my feelings and emotions to help me fulfill the purpose of my existence? And like we always say in these classes, what is it? What is the purpose of my existence? It's really to get to know who I am and who my owner is, and who the creator of this universe is, because that would be the only way that would satisfy me. And the message that as the authors mentioned, the prophets or exacting scholars or saints, spiritual people who have really attained a certain level of certitude within their existence, whatever they are sharing with us, when it's confirmable within my sight as well, then hey, guess what? That's one's individual ascension as well. And how do we experience that? It's in harmony and in agreement with the whole universe, or within the order of the universe and everything that's available to us. So I cannot even separate one cannot separate their personal ascension also from the rest of creation, because we are all united together as a single body, and everything is so connected, intertwined. And yeah, I think it's tasty, this whole belief and ascending. Just wanted to share some highlights.
Thank you. So each and every experience and feelings, emotions becomes valuable as long as we relate that, connect that to the one who is presenting them to us. Thank you, Fariha. And anybody else has any comment? That would be great to hear some other comments. All right. I guess then we can continue with our journey. Yeah, so feel free to share whatever you would like to say if on this section, if there are in general, in terms of the topic, the comments that have been made.
Oh, Assalamu alaikum.
Sure, Sister Alia, go ahead.
So, like, what comes to me uh, after hearing the discussion is that I need to like put more intentional effort in connecting myself and to what's out there. So usually my observations will be in awe of what's going out there, like everything, it looks amazingly beautiful, but then there's another step which is the interpretation of what does that mean to me. Today in the morning, I have a quick example. I was just marveling at the trees in our street where they're barren, but some of the trees have like almost like as if they're decorative little sherry like tiny little things at their like ends, and I was marveling at how beautiful they looked. Little did I know that that is food for squirrels, because I did not see squirrels before like feeding on them. So early in the morning today, they were like all up there and they were having fun, like just like getting to the ends of the branches and playing until they get to the food. And I shared it with Tesnia, and her response was in line, was an ascension response. She said, like, thee who made the food, like, a source of joy and happiness for these squirrels is definitely going to, like, fill my life with a lot of joy and happiness, because, like, he's shown me like how much fun they're having and how beautiful that source of food is put in the tree. It could have been put somewhere else, but like that majesty is for squirrels. Then what is happening for me? And when I read her comment, I was like, wow. So when you say the taste of faith, like, I think when I read her comment, I thought, wow, look, I just looked at it as like something beautiful, but then she tasted it. It was the taste of faith. So Brother Ali, does that make sense? Is that what we're looking for, to do that connection? Or is that very, very simplistic?
Not at all. Not a simplistic. Yeah, everybody has this experience in his or her life, but to a certain extent. So we have to go through our experiences, but we have to bear in mind at the same time that when we read the text, the further ahead, the text emphasizes on the importance of the here on this page, the same page, which is in the screen, the light of from the light of the eternal sun through seven colors, indeed through colors to the number of divine names, through number of divine names, and all are all different. For example, excuse me, when we look at our feelings, and also when we really concentrate on what is going on in the universe, we see that the source of existence of this universe is not only the creator, as you described, beautiful pictures in the or scenery on the surface of the earth, on the surface of the globe of earth, we see that beautiful color decorations, harmony of colors, and also harmony, endless kinds of animals. All of them have different qualities. and we understand that the creator is not only manifesting that he has enough power to create, but also he knows, he arranges, he is absolutely wise, he makes everything beautiful, he gives the options to human beings to choose in order to develop their sense of justice, to implement or to employ in their life. He is so wise, and he's promising that through the human feelings, he is going to fulfill his promise that human beings are given the sense of, giving the desire, the need of eternal life, eternal entertainment. All sort of human arts, for example, represent to us that human beings have been given these endless qualities. For example, if you go to a little bit bigger universe, you have hundreds of different departments of disciplines. Every discipline studies different aspect of the universe, how it is functioning, through functioning, how it is really exposing to human attention that, oh, there is another quality manifesting itself, and human beings can perceive it, uh, detect it. It means we have the same quality in us. So only understanding that the source of these qualities are the creator of the qualities of the creator of the universe, I understand that the qualities I have within my endless feelings are all they are all the indications of the qualities of the universe. How am I going to really meet the ends? It means the source of the qualities of the source of existence, qualities of the source of existence of my human feelings, and also human consciousness. How are they going to connect to each other? Connect to each other. It means, look, I love beautiful art. Okay, it is going to be satisfied by the one who is the creator of the endless degrees and manifestations of art on the universe, and endless degrees of manifestations of art in my feelings. I don't want only, satisfy my sense of pleasure through, or pleasure of experiencing the beauty on the earth through birds, through flowers. Even when you study carefully, you see the design on the complexion of, maybe you don't like an animal, but for example, snakes. Look at the design on them. Perfect color harmony, incredible beauty. Although we don't like snakes, we keep away from them. It doesn't mean that we don't like the existence of snakes, but we keep away from them because if we are not careful, they may be harmful for us. But it doesn't mean that we cannot see the beauty in their actions, how they really catch their prey. Oh, how do they learn this? Which school they attended, which degree they have, in order to defend themselves, in order to really catch the prey and look after themselves. Maybe take care of their children, educate them, train them. Look at the most maybe not very pleasant animal, how they can compassionately take care of their young. It means compassion doesn't belong only to human behavior, that human beings love their children, love their babies. No, every animal love their uh, babies, their young, in the way that different manifestations of compassion in their life, endless manifestations, demonstrates the endless names, qualities of the creator. So we find ourselves in the ocean of the endless different kinds of the qualities of the Creator experienced through ourselves, and of course, it gives a definitely a full satisfaction in one's existence. Oh, I am connected to this Creator. I belong to Him. I trust my existence to Him. It means I am not worrying about this at all. He knows what He's doing. He is so merciful, so beautiful, so just, etc. So powerful, so wise. He wouldn't give me this expectation of satisfaction for nothing. So this is a beautiful experience, and thank you for your sharing also for your life experience or examples. Thank you, everyone.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Alhamdulillah. If there's any other final comment, we can take it because our time is up right now. If not, inshallah, feel free to join us next week as well, inshallah. All right. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. وآخر دعواهم الحمد لله رب العالمين. بحرمة سورة الفاتحة.